Hey guys, Lizardlea here for day 70 of 4 Heavenly Beasts. Oops. I'm really bad at this, you guys. I'm sorry. So there is the progress so far. Looking good. And so I want to call attention to this because it freaked me out and I was convinced I'd screwed up and it was my fault, and I wanted to tell you guys, like, yeah, see, I make mistakes, but I don't think it's a mistake. So if you look, especially in this corner, like right there, those top, like, what, 3 stitches? 4? It looks like it's been shifted, right? Like, it looks like I ignored like 2 columns and then just added on 2. I did not. So the first thing I did was check my pattern to see if I screwed it up. You can see just from there, like, okay, it's the first 3. They look like they've been shifted over, okay? I pulled up the pattern from the email I got it in, and it looks like it's all been shifted over. So I don't know if this is a known thing and it's still that way, or if it was fixed a few years later and I just wasn't given the updated pattern. I don't know. But I was totally like, man, I'm gonna have to bring the mat in, because now that I see it, I can't unsee it. But it's meant to be like that. I think I'm gonna bring the mat in either way. But as the former Stitchy Pin Queen at the Michael's Custom Framing Shop, you generally want to bring the mat in a little bit anyways, just because sometimes it can be hard to get it to be perfectly the size it's meant to be. Sometimes you'll pull one side a little bit more and it makes it difficult, versus if you bring it in a little bit, you don't have to worry about that as much. So yeah, I was fully prepared to be like, I screwed it up, you guys. This is so everyone can know. And then everything was backing me up. So I do make mistakes, though. There was at one point on the last one, I had a stitch that was one too high, and another one, I think in the same color, that was one too far over, or maybe they were both one too high. I had made a mistake. I looked at it and I was like, I can't tell, so I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not going to pull them out to move them over and then pull out another thread and put that in. Yeah. I'm gonna go stitch now. So David has to leave for a haircut in 30 minutes. And that gives us just enough time to finish the narration here. But he's still looking at what we need to talk about.
I mean, we have...
What's the oldest one on there? My Hero?
Probably My Hero, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So full spoilers, because we did, what was it, season 4? Is that out?
Yeah, whatever the current season
Whatever
is.
the current one is as of just before July 2023. So, my favorite character to date is still Sun Eater. He's a minor character. He's, what, the class ahead of our 1A heroes? Or 2 years ahead? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was more of a background character this season than previous ones, which made me sad.
Mm-hmm.
But the new one that jumped up, in my estimations, was the bunny. What is she, the number 4 hero? Number 3? Number 4.
4, I think.
4, yeah, because
She's above Washington
Endeavor, Best Jeanist, and then I don't remember who 3 is. I don't think it's the bunny, though. I freaking love her, though. Like, her design is really interesting. Her powers are so awesome. Like,
I was expecting, she looks like a bunny, she can hop around and she can like eat carrots and maybe she has really good eyesight because people like to say if you eat carrots you have good eyesight or whatever. No, she opens up a can of whoop ass like no one else on this show.
Yeah, she's
her
very well
kicks, her punches, she is obviously not as strong as All Might. It took me a minute. I was punching the air and it helped me think of his name for some reason. But she's really strong. Like, again, full spoilers. There's a point where her arm, the whoever she's fighting, can manipulate space to the point that her arm gets like twisted on itself. So as you can imagine, her bones. It's not good. She keeps going. And I was straight up crying through this whole fight because I was like, oh my god, David, I just said that she was my favorite and now she's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, she didn't die. She has not died yet. I'm sticking to that. What'd you say?
Someone didn't make it out of this season.
I don't remember who died. It wasn't the bunny girl.
It was a bad guy.
Her name's Mirko. I don't know what number she is. Why doesn't it say? Holy crap. Enhanced strength, durability, speed, reflexes, stamina, agility, hearing, leg strength, that's silly, smell, master martial artist, master acrobat, and high pain tolerance. Oh my god, it keeps going. Indomitable will, enhanced instincts, high intelligence, Luna Ring, Luna Fall, Luna Tijeras, and Luna Arc. I don't know what that stuff was, but...
Her moves.
Oh, of course she has to name them. Dude, she's so cool, though. Number 5. She's number 5.
Oh, okay. It's the Washington.
Or this could be up to date with right now, and in the manga she's number 5? I don't know. I'm literally, like, skipping through anything that looks like it could potentially...
I'm shocked you forgot who died, given you cried so much about it.
Man, I don't... Just tell me. I already said full spoilers, so if people are surprised, that's their problem.
Twice.
Oh, that's right! Oh, he was my favorite villain! Why would you remind me? Oh my god! Oh! No! And it was like... It was extra heartbreaking, because... He wanted to go help his friends. And he finally made friends. Because Twice has... He's kind of cray-cray, like... He talks to himself. Like, he wasn't, like, born schizophrenic, right? It was, like, his powers came in
made
and...
him start questioning his reality.
Yeah. And so, like, even his clones think that they're the real one, and it's, like, it's so confusing. But he got this group of friends, and of course they're all villains, and they're nice to him, and they help him, and they take care of him. And he gets put in this position by a hero, where it's like, the hero was straight up like, if you don't move, I won't kill you. But your friends are all gonna die.
Or be captured. I don't think they're gonna kill him.
Well, Twice thought they were gonna be killed, like, I get it. Or at least he didn't want them to be captured. That's enough for me. And Twice made the decision to, take a mortal injury in order to try and help his friends, because that's what he cared about. And it was really heartbreaking.
Yep.
It was so bad. I can't believe you reminded me of that. Why would you do
Well,
that?
there's no way to dance around it, given that I was kind of going to open with, this season is all about... The start. The season starts incredibly hard. It goes very hard, very quickly. And it starts with a really big, like, oh, we're doing this, okay. And then you're like, oh, so how are they not going to do it? Oh, they're just going to do it. And it's really, really cool. And the back half is a little less good because it's in comparison to that. It's also a little more cliche than many other things they've done. But there's still a lot of interesting stuff going on. And yeah, there's some status quo adjustments and whatnot that are interesting that occur. So yeah, I thought it was a really good season for the most part. I've heard some concerning things about the manga from here, and that it kind of sputters and has trouble with pacing, which is a shame. But what are you looking up?
the top 10 heroes. So 10 is the Dragon Girl. Who, surprise, actually. I almost said surprise, but that would imply it's not a surprise. She's not my favorite. I, in fact, do not care for her. I don't care for her design, at least. She's cool. But her design is, I don't like it at all. 9 is equipped hero Yoroi Musha. I don't recognize him. 8 is the washing machine.
Washing machine tier.
7 is Kamui Woods, the one that works with the giant mountain girl. Or what, mountain lady?
Mountain lady.
Yeah. 6 is shield hero Crust. Oh, he looks familiar? I'm not sure. Oh, oh no, that was 6. Okay, 5 is my rabbit. Dang it, all these stupid ads. Who is number 4? Ninja hero Edge Shot. Oh, that's right, he's pretty cool. He was the one who was like, he could do like basically needles through like somebody's lung.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You'll live."
No, he turns into like a needle or like a.
Oh, I thought he sent him out. He can turn into him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he like turns into needles basically, and he could put holes through people.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked that because it was like he straight up told people, you know, if you don't move, help will be here in a few hours and you'll be fine. But if you get up and you start running around, you're gonna bleed to death, or you know, you're gonna run out of air or whatever. You're gonna have a collapsed lung, and then the bad guys have to make a decision from there. They're willing to go against that or not. Oh, right. 3 is Best Jeanist. 2 is Hawks.
Oh, right.
Duh. And 1 is Endeavor.
Yeah.
I was like, where is Hawks on that list? It doesn't matter.
I forgot he was even on it. So yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff.
I have to agree with you though. The first half was way stronger. Like there was their fight with that big fight that took like what 10 episodes, more than that actually. I think it took actually half the season, so it would have been 12, wouldn't it? Something like that. It went on and on and on, and it wasn't like in Dragon Ball Z. Like, it wasn't constant scenes of people just powering up. New things would happen. New enemies were introduced. New heroes would arrive. You know, that new powers would be introduced that obviously, you know, the hero or the villain knew about, but the other team did not. So it was like, oh gosh, how do we handle this? And it was so exciting. Like, I think we stayed up to finish that season until like midnight or something. Like, I was exhausted, but I was not going to be able to fall asleep. Like, I was just ready to go and not see anyone die.
Yeah, Liz wanted to know what was going to happen.
And those fights, or that fight itself, was one of the best fights. Mostly because of how they handled it. Like, I feel like there are other fights I've seen where they try to keep it going for a long time, and they're not good at changing the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
But that fight, like, I don't think there was a single time when something new happened, and I was just like, really?
Yeah. It was really good for the most part.
There
were a few maybe small things of just like, it could have been better. But yeah, it just it's easily one of the best like capstone arcs of anime. Like, you know, like, oh, here's the big fight. Like, you know, in DBZ it's like, oh, Goku finally arrived, and so now we're gonna get the Goku boss fight. This whole arc felt like one of those stretched out for like 12 episodes, and everyone's getting great moments. All of it feels good. There's so like there are like at least 7 or 8 moments that could have been like climaxes for a lesser anime on their own and would have been perfectly acceptable, and this was just like back to back to back to back greatness. So
oh, absolutely. Like, I remember when Best Jeanist dropped in.
Yeah.
I freaked out, and I don't really care much for Best Jeanist. I hate him. Okay, that's not true. I hate his design.
I hate him.
His neck is just so creepy. It bothers me. And then the giant. When the giant shows up, I was like, oh god, what are they going to do? And then when he froze, you started laughing out loud, and you were really excited. I was like, no, this is BS. What the heck? I hate this. And then you're like, no, this is perfect payoff. And then, you know, it clicked for me. I was like, oh my god, yeah, you're right. The girl who can pull things, Moko? I don't remember her name.
What's I
The girl who creates things with her cells or whatever.
I know who you mean.
In red and black hair. You know who I'm talking about.
Momo.
Momo, thank you. She she and her group managed to get the sleeping thing into him. And yeah, it just took like 30 minutes to go into effect and knock him out. I had completely forgotten about that. But it was absolutely perfect payoff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my god. Oh, it was so good. The second half, I don't know, like Dark Deku. Like, I get it, you have to go that route sometimes, but I just,
Yeah.
It didn't do it for me. Like, I was just kind of annoyed. And then I feel like they wrapped it up really quickly. Like, it went on too long, but it did wrap up quickly, which was nice. But I don't know, I could have done without that. Like, what exactly changed from point A to point B?
That's
he
one
got
of the
more
big
powers?
criticisms of the new season is, you get a lot of those where, like, well, what... Like, we met some new characters, and we got some interesting backstory, but yeah, it's...
I mean, I feel like it would have been really interesting to watch him learn his new powers with his
Right.
classmates.
Yeah.
Versus just learning it on his own because, he has to protect everybody and he has to keep them safe.
Also an interesting arc for that character to have, but then feels kind of like rushed and cashed out too quickly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, if they were going to do this, they need to focus on other characters, not just him, and what they were doing at the time. And yeah, it still has a really, really cool climax that's at the same time incredibly stupid. It's like equal parts like, oh my god, this is so dumb, mixed with, wow, this is phenomenal. Like, that's a great scene, but yeah, so.
Yeah, I didn't want it to take longer because I wasn't enjoying it, but I do feel like it should have taken longer. If you're gonna do the dark hero arc. Like, because he's not a villain. He's just, I don't know, like, he changes so drastically, and then they immediately pull him back at the end, that it's kind of like...
Yeah, I get what they were going for as a mini arc,
yeah.
but it feels off, and it could have been a lot better.
I think my biggest issue with it is just the arc before was, like, 12 out of 10. Like, I can absolutely see myself rewatching that. But the second half, I don't really want to.
I think the part of the problem I have is that, like, My Hero is pretty traditionally managed like an 8 out of 10 vibe with a few dips, and that second half certainly feels like closer to a 6, sort of like, there are parts of this that are just not as good as they should be.
I think that one and... Well, no, I kind of liked the school, like when they had the concert and all that. I remember there were times when it wasn't my favorite, but I feel like I liked that more than this last arc. The Dark Deku arc has, I think I can say it was my least favorite so far. I can't think of another arc that I liked less. And especially because
there are cool parts of it, like the escape on the prison. Well, no, that's actually the end of the other one. The sniper battle and the end is the main
thing. Okay, the sniper battle was good. I just, for the most part, that season focused only on Deku and characters around him, versus previous arcs have had huge moments for all kinds of people. This one only had big moments for Deku. Or, like, the villain he was fighting or whatever. Or All Might. And I just, like... I love Deku, don't get me wrong. But he's not my favorite character. As we established at the beginning of this video. Honestly, the only character I dislike on the show is Mineta. So I want to see more of everybody, except for Mineta.
I'd even be willing to see more of Mineta if they just did something with him.
Yeah. Other
Again,
than, he's a pervert.
Yeah, they had a great moment for them to be like, look, we get it, that's kind of who you are, but you need to be more adult about it, or, you need to learn. But instead, they just doubled down on it and was like, okay. And then I hear that the manga artist doesn't like writing him anymore because people hate him so much. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because he kind of sucked.
No, I will say, like, if they did have a moment where somebody pulled him aside and was like, hey, this has got to stop. Like, you need to grow up. You're acting childish. It's disgusting. Like, have a woman literally slap him.
It doesn't
treat him badly. Be pervert themselves.
Yeah. Well,
and then he can learn and grow from that. And I would actually really appreciate that.
It would also it doesn't even have to go that blunt about it.
Yeah,
but just
true.
any sort of character growth. He's the same, like, him and the belly button kid are basically the same character. Because they're gag characters, and it's sort of a waste when you manage to do such great growth with everybody else. The frog character is beloved.
Oh, yeah, Froggy's amazing.
Yeah, and she's got actual growth, and she's had self-doubts and gotten better, and, she's supportive. It's all really, really cool. And
Bakugo has become one of my favorites.
Right. Which
I hated him at first because he was so mean, and now I'm just like, no, I love him. Like, protect him at all costs.
And so that's why those two tend to stand out as badly written, not just because their gags are kind of, especially in Mineta's case, at best gross.
They literally don't have an arc.
They don't have growth. They don't have an arc. Their arc is, ha ha ha, I'm going to be a gag character still. And it's like, you could keep the gag, like, let's be clear here. Obviously, society's at different standards on what's acceptable and how you treat people, because Japan's got a way different view on what's okay to show and how people behave, and there's a ton of comedy / lighthearted stuff in Japan where that's just normal.
Yeah.
Whether we agree with that or not, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But it just sticks out so badly as, you could keep some of that in and still have him be way more useful and not just like, oh crap, Mineta's going to talk. Like, this will be useless, if not outright stupid. He's had a few good moments, but it'd be neat to see him actually interact on a serious level with other characters, and he rarely does because his joke is always, pervy stuff.
And then the French kid is, I'm tired after using my belly button power.
Actually, it hurts his stomach, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
God,
the one who's tired is Sugar Rush, you're right, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Who has more of a character arc than those two.
Yeah, and a personality.
Like, yeah, like, I love ensemble casts, usually because, they're each of the members of said cast are well-rounded, and they're distinct. Versus, you throw Mineta in with another group of pervert characters, I'm not going to see the difference. Oh, wow, he has purple hair, and he can throw his hairballs. I don't know.
Well, no, once again, like, I'd even like to see that, because, like, there's cool powers there. Like, I finally figured out his costume's a bowl of grapes, but,
You didn't know that?
It took me a while. But no, like, it's watching authors be creative with unique and weird powers is always cool. Like, yes, the guy who can be super strong is super strong, and that's an easy one to make powerful. We all know Superman, and we've seen Superman, but someone coming up with, like, oh, this is a power that I haven't seen before, but it's actually super powerful, or the person finds a way to make it super powerful, is one of the most interesting things. And yes, seeing him make his powers more powerful or more relevant in creative ways could be really interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
I just, again, we're not doing a lot of that.
I mean, the reason why Lemillion, for instance,
Yeah.
is so interesting is because he is nothing like Shadowcat.
Right.
When you hear his powers, you think, oh, it's just a Shadowcat
So
ripoff.
he'll be like the stealthy one who can go in, and no, they've taken it to the extreme of like, nope, he is a combat nightmare, because you try to punch him and there's nothing to hit, and you can't block because he will just long enough go immaterial, and just it's super creative.
And I really liked the fact he can't breathe when he's traveling through.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like, he can't just sit there and wait for you to leave.
Yeah.
He has to figure something out, which is important, into forcing him into being a melee fighter. He has to do something, because otherwise he's gonna suffocate to death.
Yeah, and there's just so much cool. It's why people like the comic,
Yeah.
And it is a shame that, like, again, I've heard the next few arcs, there's less of that stuff and whatnot. And it could be better if it did more of that. But, like, any sort of great world building is just exciting in any book. Like, I just remember that I need you to watch / listen or listen to / read. Oh my God, what's it called?
The one Artemis Fowl?
No, well that too, but no.
Oh. I don't know how well they can hear you.
The superhero one, the long superhero one, the Jake read.
Worm?
Worm.
Yeah, see, I listen when he speaks, you guys.
Worm is like much darker My Hero Academia and much more realistic.
You didn't finish it though.
No, but I mean I am well into it. It's just incredibly long. Like I can already I'm through several major arcs. At least the introductory arc, and then 3 other major arcs.
I don't know, like I love when someone takes a power, you know, like Shadowcats, where I'm like, I think I completely understand it. I get it. I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then they do something new with it, and I'm like, I never would have thought of that. That is so interesting. Like JJK, the guy who claps and he can teleport with people. Like, dude, every single time he introduced a new power, like that fight was my favorite one in the entire series, because every time new stakes were introduced, it felt earned, it felt believable, and it was exciting.
Exactly.
Like that was what the first arc of this last season did for me, and the second half didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool. You know, I liked his new powers. I won't deny that.
Sure.
They were really cool, but I just.
It definitely feels like the author is struggling to keep what creates the show interesting going on, which is a shame because it seemed like such an easy formula where it's like, yes, you have a zillion characters, they all have cool powers, and you're great at coming up with ways of showing these off. Just keep doing that. Keep showing them off.
It's the Naruto problem of, I found my favorite, I want to show off my favorite. No, show me everyone. I want everyone.
Well, and on top of that, like, that's not even just the main class. Like, you've got the class, you've got the teachers, you've got the other class, which also
Sun Eater is my favorite.
No, that's the older class. I meant the rival class.
Oh,
the other
classy.
school.
Oh, the other school.
Yeah,
now I gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, like there's so many characters and they've all been done so well. So it's just sort of sad to hear that he's like running out of flow on the main arcs because it shouldn't have to be rough. I mean, again, it depends on what he wants to do and whatnot. There's a lot of weirdness going on in the manga world, like JJK trying to wrap up in 1 year when no one felt that was appropriate and things like that. So who knows if there's like major stuff here I don't follow, but they did just take all your characters and show them off. Do smaller arcs with like bigger things going on behind them, but you know, don't rush your main plot.
Yeah.
Don't force, because the main plot is Deku. That is the problem. Is the more you focus the main plot, the more you're going to have to focus Deku, and that can get tiring, especially when you've got so many good characters and so many other things going on that people want to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Deku's back with them, so I'm hoping the next arc will be really good because he won't be on his own. He'll be with them. Fingers crossed.
Like I said,
if they repeat that arc, I'm going to be so disappointed.
No, they don't. But
it wasn't good.
It's the marking point of where things kind of, I guess, start getting worse, and then you're going to have the same complaint of like, okay, that happened, but what did it change? You know?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you still get cool fights and get to learn more about other characters, because at least then, like, this one was especially bad because not only did nothing change, we just spent the entire time focusing mostly on Deku, which is sort of sad. So hopefully at least we'll get like other characters and other stuff going on. But yeah, the pacing of the overall plot starts to feel awkward, and so we'll see. I mean, you know, but that's not just me, or rather, that's not just a few people I've heard say that. It's a pretty well held opinion, unfortunately.
Darn.
I have nothing else to say about My Hero though. So, do you?
Well, we're almost at the end. I am working on potential wedding favors for our wedding.
Yes, that's the thing.
And they're really pretty. They're paper flowers. I haven't finished like the whole part of it. I've only done the paper flower part. But I haven't videoed any of it. Maybe I should video some of it so that at least I have, you know, video proof that yes, I did do these. I've also considered maybe doing some cross-stitching. Haven't decided yet. So, we'll see. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And that is the end of 4 Heavenly Beasts Day 70. I got 3 hours and 20 minutes of footage. I finished all the Kreenix thread on that page. And a little bit on the page over here and the page under here. So I think this is the biggest cluster of Kreenix thread remaining. So yay! I'll be very happy when all of that's done. I still hate working with it. I forgot to mention earlier, I think. I spoke to, was it a nurse? Someone for the prescription on my MS medication, and they said it's an uncommon reaction, but it is a possible side effect to have tingling numbness in your hands from the meds that I'm on. So there's a chance that it's the MS causing it, and there's a chance that it's the MS meds causing it. So yeah. Honestly, though, I'd rather it be the meds, because if it gets bad enough, we could put me on different meds and not have that side effect, hopefully. Because if it's the MS, then I'm just going to live with this the rest of my life. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to ramble if I keep talking. So, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. See you guys in the next video.